Hi everybody and welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at another Steamcrave product and I'm really excited to share it with you. This is the Steamcrave Aromamizer Supreme V3 RDTA. This has been upgraded very similar to the Aromamizer Plus V2, which you know that I love. It's like my daily carry, as well as the Aromamizer Ragnar RDTA. Being brand new and being like, it's in that family. It's literally like the little brother to those two. So I'm really excited to bring this to you. Now this does come with a regular kit or an advanced kit. With the regular kit, you'll get a single coil deck and a postless deck. With the advanced kit, you get the single coil deck, the postless deck, and the mesh kit. So you can actually do 3 different things with one RDTA. How many people can say that? Nobody. Steamcrave has literally made the market for being able to just switch out your decks and making it like new, but having the same atomizer. You don't have to purchase another tank to have the things that it can do. So I'm really excited about it. So being that they are going to be mimicking literally the Aromamizer Plus type, they're also going to have those different decks available for this. Now it's not the same decks because of course with the size of it, this is a 25 millimeter, the other one's a 30, and then the other one is a 35. So these do have their own deck options, but hello, you still get options. You can also get like the velocity deck, you can get the mesh deck, you can get the single coil deck, you can get the postless deck. You've got so many different options when it comes to Steamcrave products, and this one is no joke. This one is very similar. So let's go ahead before I tell you any more information, because you know that I'm excited. When it comes to Steamcrave products, I know that it's quality, but let's just find out for ourselves. So let's go down and look at the Steamcrave Aromamizer Supreme V3 RDTA. Okay, so here we are with the Aromamizer Supreme V3 RDTA. So this is the packaging that it comes in. Now this is the advanced kit. So yeah, it comes in regular and advanced. I do have the advanced. It also comes in 4 colors: stainless steel, black, gunmetal, and blue. And then of course your scratch off authenticity. And when you open up the box, you're going to get these 2 things will be on the bottom. I put them on the top. You're going to get your Steamcrave sticker. You're going to get your user manual. This is going to have all your information, including your model number. In addition to that, it's going to tell you what's included in the advanced kit, things like that. Now, the difference between the regular kit and the advanced kit is going to be the mesh. You're going to get the mesh kit with the advanced kit. So if you get the regular kit, you're going to get everything except for that. So just want to let you know about that. So of course you're going to get 2 pieces of cotton. So you're going to get your RDTA right here. You're going to get some extras. So you've actually got some extra O-rings and grub screws and things like that. This is for just the as is. Then you're going to get a spare deck. This is actually your postless deck. So it does come with a postless deck, and it's got your screws and stuff in it, as well as a squonk pin. With changing this into an RDA with the postless deck, you can now squonk. They actually put a squonk hole here, and they provide you with a squonk pin if you want to do that. Then in addition to that, you're going to get your lovely tri-tool. You're also going to get a new, an extra gasket, which I'll show you about the gasket in just a little bit. In addition to that, you're going to get a 510 drip tip adapter, which I think is great that they provide that for you. And then you're going to get a chimney extension. And then you're also going to get a bubble glass. And then of course, we'll go over the mesh kit in a minute. This is a 25 millimeter RDTA. I absolutely love the fact that if you don't notice it, it looks almost identical to the Aromamizer Plus V2. I love that they incorporated that into this one, so I'm really excited about it. Now they do have a fancier drip tip, which maybe I need to talk to Steamcrave about, LOL. So this is an 810 size drip tip. It's got the O-ring on the inside, so you can use any 810 that you like. But come on, why wouldn't you want that, right? Of course, on the top, it does say Aromamizer Supreme V3 Steamcrave. And then the drip tip fits in here. Now, the difference between this and the Aromamizer Plus, the biggest difference I'm going to tell you is going to be the fact that it opens up with just a 1/4 turn. So you have top fill, but it's just a 1/4 turn open. There's that gasket that they provide you the extra one. So it does have that vacuum seal in it, and it does lock into place with those little divots right there. So you do still have those big kidney size shaped holes. So I really like the fill holes in here. Now, as the way that it comes right now it is a 5 mil capacity but it can also be a 6 mil, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So down here we do have our lock and unlock. This is going to be for your juice flow controls. You do have these airflow options. So you've got like the 3 slits, again, very, very similar to the Aromamizer Plus V2. 3 slits right there. You can close it down to 2. You can close it down to single. And if you notice, these 2 are on the bottom. You can literally take this all apart and flip that upside down for more airflow control options. Personally, I don't feel that it's necessary. They do suggest it for like the mesh decks, but in any of the atomizers that I've used with the mesh deck, I really don't need to flip it. It works just fine that way. But if you want to, all you need to do is just take it apart. Now, again, this is a 25 millimeter atomizer designed by BJ Shee. There's your serial number right there, protruding 510, of course. And then you've got the knurling, again, very, very similar to the knurling on the Aromamizer Plus V2. It literally looks like a baby me of the Aromamizer V2, or the Aromamizer Plus V2. I'm loving it. I love that this is now incorporated to look in that same family, identical. So to this, it does come with the chimney extension as well as the bubble glass. If you use the chimney extension with the bubble glass, this will actually increase your e-liquid capacity to 7 mils. Now let's go ahead and go in this because I want to show you. We know that we have an extra postless deck that they provide you as well as a mesh kit, but let's see what is actually comes installed here. So automatically installed, you're going to get your single coil deck. Awesome that this is the same deck that they came out with for the Aromamizer Plus V2, V1, and Ragnar. So this is great that they actually provide this as well. The same matchy type of deck for the Aromamizer Supreme V3. It does have 20% bottom airflow and 80% side airflow. So as you can see, there's side airflow, but there's also bottom airflow. Let's go ahead and see what else we got. So in addition, we do have the mesh kit. Okay, so inside, you pull that out and you're going to get all the similar things that come in the standard mesh kit. Now this is made specifically for the Aromamizer Supreme V3. And then of course you've got your user guide right there. There is your mesh deck right there. This also comes with a squonk pin included. You've got some extra screws. You're going to have some mesh strips with it. It does come with 2 different types. This one is a stainless steel 316L mesh strip. This one is a 0.15 resistance, and this one is good between 40 to 70 watts. Then you get the Kanthal one. So this is the Kanthal A1, and this one here is also a resistance of 0.15, good between 40 to 85 watts. So you also get those. And then of course your rounding tool so that you can round your mesh strip. So we'll go ahead and put a build on this, and we're going to put a build on the single coil. In addition to that, before I do it, let's go ahead and take this apart because I do want to go ahead and change out the bubble glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go like this. And I always have like a pair of ceramic tweezers, and it just helps me get this started. And then if it's too tough for you, you can use a pair of pliers as well and just do it the same way. But that's pretty much how I get my bubble glass off. So we'll go ahead, or my straight glass off so I can put the bubble, and then just unscrew this. This is actually going into the chimney right there. I'm going to go ahead and swap out the glass. I'm going to put the bubble glass, but before then I do have to change out the chimney. If you notice, this chimney is a little bit shorter than this one, so this one's going to give us the additional e-liquid capacity. I'm just going to unscrew this one. Now the first time that you're unscrewing everything, it's going to be a little bit hard because of the fact that it's brand new, so you might need a little bit of help. But this chimney section just comes out like this, and then you go ahead and install this one just like this. And if for whatever reason you do want to take this apart for cleaning or for any, taking it apart to change out your airflow or anything like that, you can do it, the same method. You get to this part and then you would just go ahead and this comes off like this, and then you can take off the airflow and swap it out. So you can actually do that also. It does fully come apart. When you're putting it back together, make sure there's no gaps. If there's a gap in here, you're going to get leakage. So you need to be careful with that. And then that's all together. Let's go put on our bubble glass. I love bigger e-liquid capacity, so we'll put that on. And then screw our top on because the top is actually going to screw right into that chamber right there. And just screw that down. And you do want to make sure that you tighten it so that way whenever you're taking off the top, you're actually not taking this apart as well. So I'm just going to tighten it there. and then put this back together, and that's what it looks like with the bubble. And you know me, love the bubble. So yeah, so let's go ahead and do the single coil build. Take a look at how to do that. Go ahead and get a coil. For my coil, I am going to be using my Coil Clout Fuse Clapton. I think they're absolutely amazing. If you go to coilclout.com and you put in the coupon code Wendy, you actually get a percentage off just because you're my friend. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my Allen key screwdriver, or Allen, whatever. I actually bought this specifically just for my Aromamizer, for my Steamcrave products. This fits all the grub screws in the Aromamizer V2, the Aromamizer Plus V2, the Aromamizer V1, the Aromamizer Ragnar. This fits all of them, as well as your decks. So any of the decks. So there's the measurements just in case. I got this from Amazon, by the way. So just in case you're curious, I have my own screwdriver for my Steamcrave products. Yes, I do. Okay, so you unscrew those. Very, very similar to the single coil deck that I did for the Steamcrave Aromamizer Plus. And then all we need to do is just install our coil legs. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put that in. I did space it just a little bit, which I'll fix them up once they're in. But because these are kind of wide apart, it makes it go in a little bit easier that way. There we go. Nice and easy. And then I'll go ahead and tighten. And then after it's tightened down, then I'll shape it. There we go. Put that one there. And then I'll go ahead and make sure that this one is just as far out. There we go. And then tighten this one down. Okay, once I have them both tightened, once they're both tightened, I'm going to go ahead and just maneuver my coil. See, I like them a little spaced anyway. They do fire up a little bit quicker as well. So I'm just going to get my handy dandy cutters. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And you want to cut it right there. And then cut this one right there. There you go. Pretty much it right there. So let's go ahead and start heating up the coil. Yes, it's a new load. Scanning. Okay, and I'm going to turn this down because you always want to start off at a low wattage whenever you're heating up your coils. This thing always goes so fast. There you go. And ceramic tweezers if you need them. Okay, there we go. Look at that. See? I didn't have any problem. Because of the fact that they were spaced, they actually heated up a little bit faster. So see what I mean? Well, now all I need to do is grab some cotton. For my cotton, I'm going to be using my Kendo Vape Cotton Gold Edition. This is just my personal favorite. You can use any cotton that you want. Oh, and a neat trick, if you lick the tip, it makes it easier. There we do. All you do is just put it right through. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and fluff out my cotton because that's what Wendy does. Wendy always fluffs out her cotton. So I'm going to go ahead and fluff those out and then cut right at the O-ring right there. So I'm just going to cut it right there. And then cut it on this side. There we go. I'm going to fluff it out just a little bit more or thin it out just a little bit more because I want it to lay in there, but I don't want it to be stuffed. Do that. There we go. Cut off just a little bit more. There we go. Now we're just going to go ahead and lay it in the juice well. There we go. You can also just pinch it together like this and put it in. Now, if it feels too tight, I'm definitely going to thin it out more. But I would recommend thinning it out more, but that should be just about right. Go ahead and thin this one out. And then trim. And just grab it and put it in the juice well. See, fits really, really nice. Not too tight at all. You're still leaving some room. I'm going to thin this out just a little bit more. There you go. Put it together and just dump it in. If you can hear the rain, I apologize, but it's Florida. There you go. Just put that in there like that and we're all set. That's exactly how it's going to look. minus the cotton on the sides. But there we go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drip and pulse until we know that the cotton is saturated in the coil. So I'm just gonna drip, 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 and pulse. Drip and pulse. There we go. And now it's saturated. You can see it through the coil. It doesn't take much, but you definitely want to do that and make sure that it's saturated within that coil. A little bit more. There we go. All right, so that one's done. So the next one that we're going to do is the mesh coil. I give you 2 of each coil, which is really awesome. So I'll go ahead and wrap that one back up. Take my coil, take the rounding tool, and all we're going to do is just put it against it and just hold it down on both ends and just turn the rounding tool, and that'll shape it perfectly. So now we've got a perfectly rounded coil. So all we need to do now is go ahead and unscrew this. Now this does take a Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, there you go. Unscrew that one. You see how it's coming out? It's already opened up. Undo this one. Already opened up. There we go. And all we need to do is just literally lay our mesh strip right in there. See how it fits? Really, really easy to do. Just make sure that it's even, not sticking out. And then all we need to do is just tighten this down. So I'm just going to lightly hold it while I tighten that side down. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten this side down, making sure that it's still in there as well. There we go. And then tighten this one down. So that is done. Now, whenever you're pulsing mesh, a lot of people will pulse it at a really high wattage, and that's literally burning it out. You don't want to do that. Start at a low wattage. I usually do maybe like 15 watts to pulse, and then, you know, you can raise it up after that. But you always want to pulse at a lower wattage. That way it saves your coils. Got it at 17 watts, and that's already like hot enough. See? There we go. It's all ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this in. Now, again, for the cotton, whenever you're putting it in, it's going to be a little bit tight. So what you want to do is you're going to pull from both ends. Really, really important, because what it does is it thins it out in the middle and it makes it easier to pull through. So I'm going to pull from both ends. Look, pulling from both ends. You see how it's not really tugging? It's not that hard if you pull from both ends. It just works so much better when you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and cut it. So I'm going to cut it because it's only going to be laying right in there. I'm going to cut it pretty short. I'm going to cut it right about there. There we go. And we're still going to be fluffing it and all that. There we go. And this way. All right. Now, since this is an RDTA, it's not really an RTA. There's a couple different ways that you can actually wick it. You can actually cut from the bottom and leave the top. You can cut from the top and leave the bottom. Either way that you want to do it is fine. Now, their cotton is really, really fluffy. Let me tell you something. There you go. Really, really fluffy. So what I'm going to do for this case is I'm actually just going to do it, cutting it like this. I'm just going to fluff it up like that and cut it right there. Just in like a V. There we go. And then do the same thing for this one. So let me do it this way. My mod's getting in the way. There we go. And then I am going to cut off a little bit more at the end. A little bit more at the end. And I am going to fluff this out a little bit. There we go. Just make it a little bit fluffy. All you need to do is just pick it up and put it in. Just like that. Now you don't want to stuff it. So if it feels like it's too thick, take a little bit more off. I'm just going to take this, a little bit fluffy. I'm actually going to cut off a little piece right here. There we go. A little bit from the top. Give it a little trim. And then let's go ahead and put it in. There we go. All right. And that's all there is to it. Just go ahead and just get all your scragglies in if you're like me. And then, of course, once we put e-liquid on it, it's going to help it even more. So let's go ahead and drip some e-liquid and pulse it. So let me turn this up just a little bit, not too much. We'll go ahead and put it on the coil, pulse, put on the mesh, pulls. See how it's sinking in there? We want to do the same thing. We want to make sure that all that cotton that is under that mesh is nice and saturated. If it's not, you are going to have problems because of the fact that you're going to be getting dry hits, and you do not want dry hits from mesh. There we go. Turn it up just a little bit more. Okay, and then making sure that the ends are done, which it's doing it automatically anyway. And then this is where you can actually clean it up because it's nice and wet. You don't have to worry about it. See, just bring them all down. That's it. So that is the mesh deck for the Supreme V3. And now we're going to put it in the same way we do any other Aromamizer atomizers. So what we want to do is there's little grooves right there, right here, and there's little divots right there. So we want to make sure that they're fit in there. If it's not, you're going to have a gap and it will cause leaking. This is really important. So make sure that everything is nice and flush. If it's not, fix it. Make sure it's flush. There we go. All done. So now all we need to do is just put on our base. And a surefire way to know that you don't have something put together right is going to be the fact that there's going to be a gap where the airflow and the juice flow is. So if you get a gap, you know to check it. So there's no gaps. Everything's sitting flush. We're ready to go. Let's go ahead and put it on our mod. I want to do some matchy-matchy. So here we are. And then now we can fill it. Now, again, remember when we're filling it, we have to make sure that this is in the locked position. So the notch is right over the lock. That means that it's locked. For me, I like to also close down the airflow, but that's a me thing. You don't necessarily have to, but I like to have everything closed off when I'm filling it. And then quarter turn, lift it up, and then very, very generous e-liquid capacity. There you go. Here we are with the Steamcrave Aromamizer Supreme V3 RDTA with the advanced kit. So let's go ahead and go on top. We're going to talk more about it. Let's open this babies up. Got to open the airflow and the juice flow. See the bubbles? That means it's open. And then the airflow as well. That's what it does when it's wicked properly. So let's go ahead and go up and take a vape. Okay, so here we are back on top with the Aromamizer Supreme V3 RDTA. Before anything, let me go ahead and have a vape and show you what this can do. Now, I currently have the single coil deck in here. So this is all single coil and I'm vaping it at 44 watts, which is kind of low, but let's see what it does. I don't think it's a joke. I think it's dead serious. Honestly, the original Aromamizer Supreme and the V1 or the V2, I think it was, being that they're smaller, they weren't really my cup of tea. They weren't in that same exact realm as the Aromamizer Plus, in my personal opinion. I liked it, but I never fell in love with it because of the fact that it was smaller. It was kind of different. It just didn't give me that Aromamizer Plus vibe that I was looking for in a smaller atomizer. This one here, 25 millimeters, of course, is not really super small, but it's small enough. It's a lot smaller than what I usually use. It performs like the Aromamizer Plus, which is a 30 millimeter atomizer. It performs that good. It really does. I love the changes that they did to it. I love the reversal of the juice flow with the airflow. I love that you can take it all apart. I really like that quarter turn that it has for the top fill. That to me is definitely something new because the Aromamizer Plus never did that. So I do like that. I wasn't sure I was going to, but I really do. And then it comes with its own little fancy drip tip as well. So hello. And then you've got so many different airflow options, very, very similar to the Aromamizer Plus. And I always go back to that one because that was actually my staple atomizer. When the original Aromamizer Plus came out, I used that for over 3.5, almost 4 years. And then of course the Aromamizer Plus V2 came out and I'm still in love with it. So this, to me, with the bubble glass, also, let me just mention that bubble glass 7 mil capacity is just amazing. Now with the single coil deck, the e-liquid capacity is 5 mils on the straight glass. Still 7 mils with the bubble, but with the straight glass, it's only 5 mils. Because it takes up a little bit more space in the bottom of the deck because of the walls and things, it does limit it to only 5 mils. If you're using the postless deck or the mesh deck in it, it will give you 6 mil capacity with the straight glass. But with either of them, it gives you 7 mil capacity with the bubble glass, which, you know, I love capacity, so 7 mils is mine. That's the one I'm going to choose, is the bubble. Plus, I always love the bubble glass anyway. So again, you can make it yours. You can actually adjust your airflow any way you want. If you want additional airflow options, which is really only one additional, well, maybe two additional airflow options, it's going to flip it and just put them in a different position. You can do that as well. Another great feature of Steamcrave products, if you do not know or you haven't had one before, is the fact that you can swap out the decks without emptying your juice. You don't have to. Now, you do have to remember that whenever you're filling any of these RDTAs, you do need to lock the juice control. Make sure you're doing that. If you do not lock that juice flow control and you go to open it up to fill it, it will leak everywhere. I've actually had people message me about it. That's why I want to make it a little point in this video to make sure that you understand that there is a juice flow control for a reason. And that's so that it keeps it from actually flowing down and flowing out when you're filling it because you're opening it up. So yeah, so you do want to lock it when you're filling it and then unlock it when you're not. Now, to change out the decks, it's super, super easy. I'm going to show you because we also built on a mesh deck. So we're going to go ahead and swap it out. But first, let's have another vape. That's a single coil. Love, love, love this. Okay, so let's go ahead and swap it out. Okay, so all you need to do is you take it off of your mod, turn it upside down, take off the bottom little knurling, take out the deck, get the mesh deck, okay, get the mesh deck, put the mesh in, line it up with those grooves. There we go, clicked into place. Put on the bottom piece. Still got e-liquid in it. Tighten it down. Turn it over. And see, it's wicking nicely. So now all we need to do is go ahead and put it back on our mod. And now we're in mesh mode, baby. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and start this off. This coil is actually rated between 40 to 85 watts. I'm actually going to start it off low and then we'll go ahead and bump it up. So I'm going to start off at 43 watts. There we go. And let's go ahead and have a vape. No dry hit whatsoever. Getting nice and saturated. I do have it fully wide open because I like a lot of airflow personally. Mesh for days, baby. So now let me go ahead and bump it up. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to, let's take it up to 55. Well, 58. Well, it's already on 58. So we'll take it up to 58. So let's go ahead and have another vape. It's there. Flavor and everything. Now for the mesh, I'm going to actually turn down the airflow just a little bit. I'm going to put it on the 2 instead of the 3. Okay, so now I have it on the 2 airflows. And let's go ahead and have a vape. A lot of things that I've heard from people is the fact that with mesh, it's too cool. It's too cool of a vape with mesh. With this one, you do get a lot of warmth with it. So I do like that. And I think that a lot of people out there will also like it. Sorry, my shirt keeps going backwards. So I think you'll like that. Again, I can sit here and chain vape it. I'll go ahead and do that for you right now. I'm getting a lot of nick. But yeah, so you saw no dry hits whatsoever. If you wick it the way that I showed you, you're going to be fine. Making sure that you're not stuffing the cotton into those wicking channels is key to any mesh. That is super key. If you're going to stuff it, the juice is not going to be able to get up to hit the cotton that's underneath the mesh. And that's what's going to give you a dry hit. But even vaping it like this and doing the repetition of vaping and it works. It really does. So I'm really loving the fact that they did it with this. I do like the fact that you can change it out and that it's got multiple deck options. I really haven't found anything that I don't like about this. As a matter of fact, I just found more that I liked about it, to be honest with you. During the testing, during the building, during all that, I really just feel like they really hit it out of the park. For those of you that like smaller atomizers, I really think that you'll like this. Just having those optional deck options is key for Steamcrave. Steamcrave is known for that. You don't have to be stuck with just one deck option. You've actually got multiple and you don't have to keep buying additional tanks, which to me is great. So if you like single coil, you can just swap it out to single coil. You like postless, you can swap it out to postless. You even like velocity decks, you can purchase that separately and do that. Or if you like the mesh, you can do that as well. So that's pretty much it for my review. I've gushed enough about Steamcrave and their products. I think that it just works great. You've got 4 different mesh strips that come with it. 2 of them are Kanthal, 2 of them are stainless steel 316L. You've got, the only thing it doesn't come with is coils for the single coil or the postless deck, but it comes with so many other options that doesn't bother me at all. For some, it might be a con, but for me, it's definitely not, because they're giving you so many different options. You've got the straight glass, you've got the bubble glass, you've got a 510 drip tip adapter, you've got an 810 drip tip that it looks amazing. You've got so many different options, and it comes in 4 different colors. You've got the stainless steel, you've got the black, you've got the gunmetal, and you have the blue. So whatever color you like, you can actually get. And again, all you need to do is get 1 and optional decks. And it's like having new atomizers every time that you change out the deck. And you can do it with e-liquid in it, which is key for me for any type of RTA or RDTA. Personally, I love juice flow control. I've loved it ever since I got my first Aromamizer Plus. It's just something that I'm so used to now that it's like second nature. I really like that because you're definitely not going to get any leaking. As long as you're closing it when you're filling up the e-liquid and you open it back up when it's done, you're going to be fine. You're not going to have any problems whatsoever with leaking. I don't know what else to say about it. Thank you, Steamcrave, for sending this my way for a review. It does not change my opinion whatsoever because, hello, I buy a lot of my stuff from Steamcrave and definitely the extra accessories. So I'm in love with the company. I think that their craftsmanship, the work, the construction, everything about this is key. Now, if you do have it a little bit tight, because sometimes when you first get these, the O-rings are a little bit tight. You can't just take it apart like I showed you down below and just put a little bit of e-liquid where the O-rings are and put it all back together, and it's going to make it a little bit looser. Or you can just wait, and over time from opening and closing it, it's going to do that anyways on its own. But that's pretty much it for this. I mean, you also get the squonk pins. Did I tell you that? So you can convert this to an RDA, which I do show for my Ragnar. I can always show you. If you want me to actually do a separate tutorial doing that for you so I can turn this into a squonking RDA, please let me know and I will go ahead and do that for you. But you can actually just take off the glass and you just literally take off everything except for this part here, which is the opening, and you just put it on the bottom and it's an RDA. You can turn it into an RDA. Like, hello. You can't find that anywhere. You really can't. So yeah, so that's it for my review. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there, as well as your bell notification. That way you're notified anytime that I upload new content. And thank you, and I will see you in the next one.